Brilliant goal from Kobe Mainoo, 18-year-old Manchester United teenager. Of course, Man United 2, Liverpool 2 has blown the league quite open now. Arsenal tight joint with Liverpool 2-2. And Mancity following very, very closely and keenly, looking for chance and opportunity to snipe in the winner. Who's going to win the league? That's the biggest question everybody is talking about. We're here on the podcast. Hello there, welcome to Football Thoughts 360. Today we're going to look at the Premier League now, the chances. Can all these three teams, every one of them can actually win the league? Can you believe that? All of them from Arsenal to Liverpool, of course, to Manchester City, the former champions or the still the reigning champions, they have a chance and still gunning for the treble. But today we'll be looking at the game, and I've got Kane, my regular guest here now. Kane, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good. League is open now. Arsenal, Liverpool.
Wide open.
City?
I always go with City. I think City are the position where they're waiting for any mistakes. But I think all three of them, if you look at all three of them, I think there's still errors in them. They haven't perfected the end towards the end of the season. The previous seasons, you usually know Mancity will find a way and they will keep grinding the results out. So even though they're not winning games as commanding as they used to win games, they are still getting the results at the moment on. It would be wrong to count them out because they're the defending champions 3 times in a row and they're going for the 4th title, which no one has done in a very long time. I think they'll still be there one day in a good position where they can watch and see how the other top two are moving. And then
but we can't talk about these games. You know, Arsenal has been put to a test. You know, people put Arsenal to City test. And they passed the test. They had a point at the Etihad. You know, not a lot of teams can go to the Etihad and come back with a lot of either a point or a win. And they went there. They had a point, and they came back. Brighton, very dangerous place to go. You know, Arsenal dismantled Brighton away, and they back against. You know, managed to score 3 goals away. They've got a Champions League as well. So you look at Liverpool as well. Look at Liverpool's chances against United. They created all the chances in this world. You know, they could have actually been up for 4 goals. Unfortunately, they had to settle for a stalemate or 2-2 for that game. But does it sway the momentum now to Arsenal's side, or do you think Liverpool is still the one we should be looking out for?
I think statistically, Liverpool is the best team in the league. They've lost only 2 games.
Yeah,
they've drawn more of the games, and they're winning games. So I think the momentum still lies with Liverpool because it's the only difference in terms of goal scoring. It's the goal scored. So I think the momentum still lies with Liverpool. I think they were disappointed in the way they play, and if you look at the statistics, Liverpool is the only team that has scored more goals in the last 25-50 minutes of a game. So it has to take something like a major error or if one of these teams to shut them down to sway that point over to Arsenal, because if it stays the same, if they're all perfect with goal difference towards the end of the season, then you kind of worry who's going to score more goals. And if you look at the way Liverpool plays, they are likely to score more goals. They're likely to create more chances.
Looks like.
And they have players that create chances, even though if you look at Darwin Núñez, he has missed more chances than any other striker in the league.
But that's the problem. They're not taking their chances. They're creating a lot of chances. For example, against United, they were creating chances left, right, centre.
They had 6 chances in the first half.
Do you know what I mean? And you look at the transition, there's just, with a split of a second, Liverpool just create a chance out of nothing. But you don't really get, them finishing off those moments. It looks like this Liverpool team, there's a certain piece missing. I feel like that.
Yes, when you look at 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the last time they had the Firmino,
the Manis, and
and the Monsala,
they were killer instincts, didn't
they? Had
they?
a killer instinct, and they had the midfield. And right now, they've changed a bit of the midfield. They've changed. McAllister is actually doing well, and he's actually performing, and he's actually playing very well. But I think up front,
brilliant player.
They are still finding I think they've not gelled as much as people think they've gelled. I don't think they've gelled it. I think they're still lacking that understanding of one another. They still create chances. They still play
They
very
do.
well, but there is still a certain understanding that you don't see in the
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
And no matter how they create chances, you can see that Darwin Núñez is still raw.
Yeah.
He hasn't found that finesse in his game.
Yeah.
And when he does,
Then they're gonna come more
they're
good.
gonna come more. But then, so unfortunately, it's club's last season, so we have to see who comes in and who changes that way of his finishing, and
Fine tunes his game basically.
yeah, just a little bit. I think he has all the abilities to be a great striker, but it's
Yeah.
just he rushes. If you look at the Uruguayan strikers,
The
Forlan,
composure
the
they have, and
Cavani,
then,
they have composure in front of goal. Luis Suarez, they have composure, but he just seems like he has the talent. You can take each piece of all the top Uruguayan strikers and put in him, and you see that he has that talent to play like every single one of them. But he just doesn't find the back of the net, and he's hit the post more than 11 times this
a lot
season.
of time
alone.
this season, yeah.
So it shows you that he seems to know where the goal post is and where the goal is.
But a little
Doesn't-
pieces here and there, he's just missing
Yeah,
those ones.
that's it. So that's the only reason why I think Liverpool still has the edge over the two other teams, because they know they keep creating chances, and teams are, when someone scores after 75 minutes and they have more goals,
Yeah, it's this.
it gets you psychologically. So even if
yeah.
you're winning 2-1, they're more likely to come back in the game.
Absolutely.
So you then want to score more goals, and then you give them a chance to come in. So I feel that it's still with them, but Arsenal is doing well. Arsenal has the game in their hands. They have one big game, which is the derby with Tottenham.
Big one.
Very big derby. So if they can get this momentum going, it will be good for them, and at least it could go towards the end of the season, because all three teams seem to have found a way, even when they're not playing very well or they're not connecting with their teams or they're not gelling very well, they seem to find a way to win games, and Arsenal seem to have that winning mentality from Mikel Arteta. So
But a lot of, you talk to a lot of Arsenal fans, and they're not too confident. They seem to kind of hold back a bit. It's almost like it's been 20 years. Let's be honest. Last time Arsenal ever did it was 20 years.
That's where it comes from.
So when you talk to a lot of these Arsenal fans, they seem to hold back a bit. Let's be calm. They don't want to sort of jump the gun at the moment. But I mean, tactically, when you look at this Arsenal team, it's a totally different team from the last 4 or 5 years of an Arsenal team. They've got Rice in. Last season, they were sweating over Thomas Partey's injury. Rice is in now. Saliba is fit. The centre-back is solid. They're creating chances. The whole team seems to be in a very good space where there is good form. You don't even know where to start, whether to start Martinelli or to start Trossard, or to play Jesus wide or through. So he's got choices. So this Arsenal team, for me, looks more like an all-rounded team at the moment. And Havertz is in form. Odegaard, splendid performance this season for them as well. So I don't see the lack of confidence when you talk to Arsenal fans, and the unsurety about if they could do it or not.
I think the problem with Arsenal fans is, I think when the season starts, they have this ambition and they see these chances where they're going to win the league.
Yeah.
And they have this belief. And I think as the season goes along, their confidence tends to drop more and more. But I think it's from previous seasons where they've had chances to win the league. I think 2016 when they were close.
They were very
but
close.
They lost to Leicester. So I think they've had chances where they could win the league. But I feel in those years, you've seen Arsenal crumble, not because they couldn't have done it, but because they didn't have the winning mentality.
Squad in depth as well.
And the squad and the players. So they were lacking in certain areas. Now, this season, have a look. They have a goalkeeper which
Raya.
when he came, they said, "Oh no, we should have left Ramsdale." Or some of the fans were complaining, but he seems to be growing in confidence.
Fantastic as well, yeah.
They got Saliba, which was in the team but was loaned out because I think he fell out with the manager.
Yeah.
And then came back, and he's doing very well because he did well in League One, which Arsenal fans knew he was very good
of
at
course.
League One. And then when he came, he was loaned out again because he didn't get along. And then he came back, and now he's showing his class.
Exactly.
And then they got Declan Rice, which some of the Arsenal fans says the amount was too much, but it's football these days.
It's justified. Justified amount.
The first season, they're in the semi-final of the Champions League.
Exactly.
the top of
After
the league.
14 years, let's be, he's the top of the
The
league.
top of the league, and it seems like every single aspect of the league and Champions League is going for them. And if you look at the Champions League too, they only have 2 games against Bayern Munich, which is not very strong at the moment. Mentally, you could tell the players are a bit down, so they have the momentum to go and win the league. So you only have to do your part and not worry about the other teams. So you have games in front of you. All you have to do to pick the trophy up is to beat the team in front of you. So once you do that, they will win the league. But I say the fans need to understand that it's a gradual process. Even when Klopp came to Liverpool, it took Liverpool and a fantastic team with Salah, Firmino,
Absolutely.
Mane, these guys. It took them so many years before they could get the league from Manchester City. So it shows that it's just that momentum. If you keep it going, if the players believe in themselves,
It's a project.
the fans will believe. Yes, and you got a number of years, and they're still young. They have one of the few youngest teams in the country, so they're still gonna grow with time. And give them 2-3 seasons, they'll be consistent competitors for the title. So I believe that the fans need to be patient. They need to be open-minded. And they need to enjoy the moment. They need to ride with the team. They need to show the team that they're behind them and they're confident.
Confidence-wise, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what the team delivers. The team wants that pressure from the fans, and that pressure of the fans saying, "We know you're gonna win the league. We believe."
Hopefully, the fans will be able to, understand where the club is at the moment. That it's not like the Arsenal of years ago. It's a different era, and a different time. But also, can we not look at the chances of Manchester United? I want us to talk about United today because, there's been a little bit of pockets here and there in the season. It's been a bit topsy-turvy. They seem to draw some points here. Next minute, you're seeing that United, looks like this is it. The engine is booted and everything is going to run. And is Eric Ten Hag the problem for United? Should the manager go or should he stay? Because, I'm looking at the system they're playing now, 4-2-3-1. And you see 2 pivots in the middle, Casemiro. But those 2 pivots they play in the middle, you don't get to see the wide men tracking back. So these 2 pivots are forced to stretch wide. And so you've got Kobe Mainoo coming wide to defend in the other left side of midfield and, Casemiro on the other side of midfield. Then they're creating that whole space in the middle for opposition teams to run through the middle. But the problem is that has to be with organisation. People say, the players have to be blamed. But do you think that Eric Ten Hag, the system
I don't think the
is
players
working though?
I think sometimes, when Eric Ten Hag came, the way he plays the way he sets up his Man United team is not the way he used to set up his Ajax team. People seem to forget that.
Absolutely.
He's not playing the same football which brought him to Man United.
Different.
He tried it.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. He went back to Ferguson way.
Yeah.
He plays like counter-attack football.
Yeah.
But that's not his style.
Yeah.
He set the formation and then you want to play counter-attack. But then when you do that, you open yourself up for the teams to other teams to come. And when you play teams that can keep the ball, that can move the ball, that can cut you up, they don't need to be panicking when you're counter-attacking them because they believe in their defenders and their goalkeeper. So if, for example, let's say they play Man City. Man City knows they got Edison on the goal.
Yeah.
They got Akanji, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Kyle Walker. They can deal with the paces of some of these players.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then they got the skill in Rodri to stop any football from coming.
And also in the transition as well. They know how to build up as well.
They have to build up. So they know the players can move the ball easily. Yeah. So they are not scared of the counter attack. They just know that if you score, you're gonna open up, they're gonna score you back. So it's a game that opens up. So for me, I feel that the manager brought players in that he believed was gonna play that style of football that he wanted. And then I'll give you an example. When you have Casemiro, who was a formidable force in Madrid, you brought him to your team, and people say, his legs are gone, or he's not doing well enough, or he's getting older. Fair enough, he's getting older. But Luka Modric is getting older. Toni Kroos is getting older. But if you keep him to run around the whole pitch for 90 minutes, covering different positions, he's always going to get found.
That would be a big struggle.
Yeah. So, for example, when he was in Madrid, if he moves forward, Luka Modric drops back. If he moves to the side, Toni Kroos covers up. They used to switch
So,
positions.
so that takes me back. What system should United play? Should they play 4-4-2? You know, where they're gonna play, um, especially where they're gonna play four holding midfielders, not holding midfielders, but four midfielders across board and defenders four, and then attack 4-4-2. Because for me, I've always said, anytime you play Rashford on the wide, you know he's not going to be effective, because majority of Rashford goals has always come outside the box. He fails to track back more. His work rate in terms of when he's got the ball, yes, he seems to surge forward, but his final end product in terms of crosses and passes doesn't really come through much, does it? So, should United revert to a 4-4-2 with Rashford in an attacking 10 position, where he scored most of his goals?
But if they revert to 4-4-2, who's going to be the number with the players they have at the moment? Who are they going to play in the midfield? Because we know they're going to play Casemiro, they're going to play Kobe,
Yeah.
they're going to put Bruno Fernandes,
Yeah.
and then you're going to have to find a position for Rashford in that midfield.
So I would have said they play 4-4-2. You know, they play 4-4-2, maybe a diamond, and then play what's his name, Bruno right behind Rashford, or maybe team up Rashford with Bruno right behind Hodgland, and then Casemiro and Kobe Menu, because I just feel like Kobe Menu is always dropping more deep, and so we're not seeing his game, because United, after they score one goal, they seem to go on a low block and defend more, and that draws the qualities of a player that can surge forward and create chances back. It's like, yes, people say Casemiro is old, but if he gets the chance to go forward, you're going to see what a quality player he is. So I think the team, they did that against City. They scored one goal, drew back into their block, they defended. Against Liverpool as well, they started defending. And I find it very, very difficult to look at all these games, you know what I mean? So I'm just thinking, maybe a 4-4-2 with a counter-pressing could unleash those players.
Yes, I think he can. But I feel once he experiments and it doesn't work, he always goes back to the players that does not, for me personally, does not suit the team.
Yeah.
And I think because some of the players do 90 minutes of pacing, running back up and down, he likes that. He seems a hard working day because some of the players don't track back. But I feel if you really want to build a United forward, he needs to experiment what the best position of the players he has in the team, and he needs to bring out the best in them. I'll give you an example. Pogba was in Man United for a few years.
Yep.
He was the best player for 2 or 3 seasons.
Yep.
But we kept hearing about the faults in him rather than what good he was doing.
Yeah.
And this is what the fans see. The fans see the statistics sometimes when he's mentioned that, he made this mistake, he made that mistake, rather than what qualities he brings to the team. So I feel United needs to go back to the drawing board. He needs to go back to his style of football. He needs to buy players, not too expensive players, but he needs to buy players that can play the style of football he wants. And he needs to mix it, integrate it, and let some of the players that he has already go. Because I feel the formation you can change, but sometimes it's a mentality of the team. The players need to fight for positions, and I think some of them do not fight for their positions. I feel Bruno Fernandes is a very good player when he has the ball.
Absolutely.
But when he doesn't have the ball, he's not a very good player. He doesn't do enough for me, and even
cover enough
the
ground
goal
as well.
that the penalty they got when he couldn't get the ball. When he got up, he didn't run after the ball.
No.
He did not show that commitment of trying to track back whilst they were winning the game. And also when the penalty was caused, some of their momentums were a bit down. They didn't seem very that they want to go back and win the game.
Yeah.
And Liverpool kept pressing them, and they just accepted it.
And it goes back to the Chelsea game as well, when they lost the last minute game as well. With Cole Palmer, yes, brilliant. We're going to talk about Chelsea today. Anyway, but Cole Palmer, brilliant goal from Cole Palmer. But again, I don't know if Eric Ten Hag is the man for United, because yes, we're talking about him bringing players in. Well, he's brought Anthony in, and we know Anthony's the man. It's been a bit of a huge mockery, isn't it? Spending over that amount of money for Anthony, it hasn't worked out. No. Even Onana, I'm just still thinking, yes, he's starting to pick up the pieces.
He's getting there.
But would it have been okay to keep David here if that was the case? If you decided to play from the back, and you're not playing from the back, then it made sense to have kept De Gea maybe, because signing a goalkeeper for that amount of money, and we're seeing that the goalkeepers are conceding goals not because they're not that good. It's because the defense is at sea.
The point he made, the defense, not the goalkeeper.
Big problem, man.
Not the goalkeeper. When David De Gea first came, he was very good.
Yeah.
When he had a good defenders in front
They
of him,
covered him.
he was very good. Because when he makes mistake, they could
covered,
set the
yeah.
mistake. When they make mistake, he could save them from the mistake. And he was their best player 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah,
also.
he was. Absolutely.
So he had player of the season because he was that good. The problem is when you have people that make errors in defensive position, after a while, it takes the confidence of the goalkeeper because he start conceding goals,
Yeah.
he start making errors. And you said they don't pass from the back no more. But then I don't believe that the defenders they have are confident in the ball to pass from the back. Because when you look at Onana, if he plays for Mancity, he will pass from the back. He will be
Absolutely.
a sweeper keeper.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at Manunited, he plays from the back. He's a sweeper keeper.
Yeah.
So these goalkeepers love to kick the ball. They love to play the ball. But the problem is, when you have guys in front of you that make mistakes, are not very confident, leading to tackles, they make errors, they concede penalties. When they get the ball, they are shaky. They don't know how to move the ball around, and they get nervous by holding the ball.
That becomes a problem.
That becomes a problem. So, but for me, if you ask if Eric Ten Hag should go, I feel he's had 2 seasons. For a big club, he hasn't performed. And also, I feel some of the handling of the personal situations in Man United, he shouldn't be kept there any longer.
So in short, United needs a new manager.
They need a new manager, they need structure, and they need players to fight for their place. I feel there is no player except 1 or 2 players, which, if you look at the season, I think Onana, towards the end of the season, he's deserving to keep his place because at the beginning,
He struggled a bit, but finally he's finding his feet, isn't
shambolic. So
Yeah.
he took the brunt of the problems because he was conceding the goals. So yes, you say, yeah, he deserves to stay 1 more season and prove the worth that he can actually be a goalkeeper for United. But I think a lot of players need to be looked at, and then they need to decide if this player should remain in the club
A
for the next
reflection,
season.
a reflection of the team.
And they need to start putting 1, 2, 3 players in every position. It might not be expensive players, but I feel they need to put, when they have Harry Maguire, they need to put 2 more defenders there for him to know that if you play bad, you're going to sit on the bench for the rest of the season. Because if you look at Jurgen Klopp and Man City and Pep Guardiola, their teams, if you don't perform, you sit on the bench.
next man is in.
Yeah.
The next man
and
is
the
in.
next man performs, he keeps playing.
Kwanzaa was sweating not because he gave that wrong back pass, but because Konate is sitting down and he knew that Konate was dropped for him to play. So he knows that it can go both ways.
That's
But
it,
let's
yeah.
let's look at Chelsea. What else can we say about Chelsea? Because they've spent quite a lot of money. The squad doesn't seem very balanced for me as Chelsea.
No, not
They spend more money buying attacking midfielders. Of course, everyone knows Chelsea's problem. They don't actually have a lethal striker up front. But you look at defense to midfield, and it seems like there's something missing in that team. But Chelsea's best side has always been from, in transition from midfield to attack. This way they've got all their best players like the Modrics, the Sterlings, the Cole Palmers, who's been very sensational this season. Some are even suggesting he should be on the flight to Germany for the Euros. Now, where does Chelsea pick itself from? Because there's too much pressure now coming on Pochettino as well.
Okay, let's start from the back to the front.
Yeah.
Would the goalkeeper be able to keep in the 2004-2005 season? Would he be the goalkeeper on the team? Would he be able to get in the team?
Absolutely nowhere near that team.
Their defenders, Thiago Silva is old,
It's gone.
but if you look at Thiago Silva, how many of these defenders that play in the team right now are better than him? Are outperforming him? I know he's not been excellent this season, but the standard has not been any better. So then you go to the midfielders where they have talents upon talents,
Yeah.
and you see and you look at the players on the pitch and you think, okay. But I feel sometimes the manager plays the wrong team out. He puts the wrong players out. He puts players that don't, how will I say, they don't bring out the best from one another.
Yeah.
When they make runs, they don't understand the runs.
The
they're
movement
making.
there's a missing piece in the
They
movement.
don't understand it. And then when you look at the striker, they have Nicholas Jackson. the work rate is excellent,
But he's
but the
finishing.
finishing and the final ball is missing. So it is the team that formation and they're not together. So their midfield, he can swap it around. But first of all, I don't think they have a very good defensive midfielder that can sit back and dictate the pace of the game.
But they got Casido now. Man. They paid that amount of money for Casido to do that job after N'Golo Kante going. Somebody that can break the lines, but at the same time as well, start play. And they've got Casido for that.
But he was playing in the Brighton team with McAllister.
Yeah, but then also they've got Madrick, they've got Cole Palmer. I'm not too sure about the young chap that played for England. They have Gallagher. They got. I'm not too sure about Gallagher.
I don't believe in Gallagher.
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm not too sure about Gallagher as well.
I don't believe in him. I think he's.
So you think he's not going to make the trip to Euros?
He probably will make the trip to you because he said he's one of the best players in Chelsea, but I don't see it. I think he should not be on that plane to Europe. I think he needs to just stay in Chelsea and work on his game. For me, I feel Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo has not gelled, has not become a partnership in the middle, because I feel their two central midfielders have to have that partnership, that understanding in the middle, because you can see that Meno, no matter how bad Manchester United play, Meno and Casemiro tends to have a bit of an understanding.
Yeah.
But when you watch Chelsea, they give you a movement for 5-10 minutes in a whole 90 minutes of consistent game in, game
Play,
out.
yeah.
Every single game, they give you one set of movement, one set of game. You see a movement and you think, okay, this team looks like they're gonna
do something.
They're gonna gel. They're gonna start moving forward. And then before the game ended, they've broken down. They've gone shambolic.
But that brings us to a very important part of today's podcast. Okay, what should we expect this coming weekend? Because now the league's blown open now. We've got Arsenal, who are there. We've got Liverpool, who are there. We've got City, who are there, regardless of the 1 point. Important games coming up.
They got Champions League.
The Champions League, obviously.
Europa League.
The Europa League coming up as well. So for me, when you look at these important games coming up, where is it going to go now this weekend?
I think based on how the teams played in the Champions League and what teams the managers put out, I think it will take an impact on the weekend, because I feel if you look at the three teams chasing the league, Atlanta is okay. They're doing well in Serie A.
They're all right.
Madrid is top of the league. Madrid wants the Champions League. Bayern Munich wants the Champions League because that's the only trophy they're going to get this season.
Yeah.
Arsenal has a chance of winning 2 trophies, so if they get knocked out of the Champions League, they still have the Premier League. So I think some teams will actually go for the Champions League and the Europa League because they want. So I feel this is Klopp's last season. He would definitely want to go for the Europa League and the Premier League because that's
Absolutely.
2 trophies in the bag for Liverpool. So you will see a lot of, I won't say too much fatigue or tiredness, but you will see it's coming to the end of the season and players know what is at stake now. They know a call up to Euros.
Push.
They know to win trophies. So
Absolutely.
now the players that want to be great will step up to the plate and they will deliver the game. But what I think is that the Champions League and Europa League will take a toll on the big teams.
On the big teams, right?
On the big teams. So teams that are well rested, this is their opportunity because for the next few weeks, which you're going to have the Champions League first leg and second leg, this is a time that you can play and you know that they might drop players.
They might change
here and there.
Reshuffle here and there.
Reshuffle here and there. So he will want to win the first game on a Thursday. So he knows, Jurgen Klopp, he knows that on Saturday, once he wins that game, the next time they play, he doesn't have to line up a whole big squad out again. So Man United will do the same. Mancity will do the same thing, and Arsenal will do the same thing because they have to beat Bayern Munich. So I think weekend, whoever plays them has a chance of
gain a point
at least of them because they will come back from Tuesday and Thursday. So it will take an impact. It will take a hit on them. But it's a championship running time, so everyone seem to be ready for it.
Okay, everyone seems to be ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, will these games take effect on the coming weekend, where the league is very tight to the top with Arsenal and Liverpool, 71 points, with City following very closely and keenly, 70 points. Just one game could change every single thing in the league now. Anyway, this has been a great show, Football Thoughts 360. My name is Kojo Ejejima. I'm here with my friend King. We've been dissecting the game and looking at various aspects of Chelsea, Man United, and also exploiting the chances of Arsenal, City, and Liverpool, who could ever win the league. Is very, very so tight now, and you don't know where the league is going to go. Please do subscribe to the channel, Football Thoughts 360. We'll be coming with the reaction over the Tuesday and Wednesday matches about the Champions League, and also looking ahead to the weekend fixtures that could, shape the table. It's been great. Thank you.